The Battle of Køge Bay was a naval battle between Denmark and Sweden that took place in Bay off Køge 1–2 July 1677 during the Scanian War. The battle was a major success for Admiral Niels Juel and is regarded as the greatest naval victory in Danish naval history. Prelude. After losing control of the Baltic Sea in the Battle of Åland the year before, the Swedish Navy wanted it back. The Danish fleet, commanded by Niels Juel, had 1,354 cannons and 6,700 men, while the Swedish fleet, commanded by Henrik Horn, had plus 1,792 cannons and 9,200 men. On the 20th of May, Joblad's squadron from Göteborg had already left, before the rest of the fleet from Stockholm had set sail. This led to the catastrophic defeat of the Battle of Mön, where Joblad's squadron of 2 ships of the line, 6 armed merchant ships and a few smaller ships fought against the superior firepower of the Danish fleet, which had about 9 ships of the line, 4 frigates. In the following battle, Joblad's own flagship Amaranth was captured, and the outcome destroyed the initial Swedish plan and eventually led to the future defeat at Køge Bay. The remaining Swedish fleet had left Elaro, near Stockholm, on the 9th of June 1677. On the 13th of June it was joined by Kalmar, off Åland, and by Andromeda and Gustavus, survivors of Joblad's squadron. The Danish fleet had left Copenhagen on the 24th of June 1677. Lack of wind forced it to anchor off Stevens Point. At daybreak on the 19th of June the two fleets sighted each other. The battle. At about 8 a.m. on the 30th of June, Horn weighed anchor with a SSW wind and sailed toward the Danish fleet, sending 2 ships to try to draw Juel out. He in turn sent 2 ships to attack them. Both sides kept their distance, the Swedes forming a line, followed by the Danes. Juel tried in vain all night to get the weather gauge. On the 1st of July at daybreak, despite some of his ships having fallen behind, Juel closed, as did the Swedes, and fighting began at about 5 a.m. Horn sent in fire ships, but the Danes towed them aside. As the fleets approached the coast near Stevens Point, Juel bore away a little in the hope that the Swedes would try to stay to windward and run aground. Indeed, the Swedish warship, Draken, ran aground and Horn had to leave ships behind to protect it as he turned 180 degrees. After the turn, the fleets sailed parallel to each other, but the Swedish fleet had made the gap in their line which Juel utilized to break through, thus isolating several major warships. This was the turning point of the battle, which soon turned into a complete rout. The Swedes lost 8 warships, several smaller ships and about 3,000 men. The Danish fleet did not lose any ships, only damages on the ships, and approximately 100 men were killed and 275 wounded. Aftermath. This battle is recognized as Denmark-Norway's greatest naval victory, and according to 19th-century Danish and Norwegian marine officers, Juel invented the breakthrough tactic. More than 100 years before the British Admiral George Rodney broke the French line in the Battle of the Saints in the Caribbean Sea 1782. The defeat of the Swedish fleet also gave Denmark-Norway control of the Baltic Sea, and thereby the inner supply lines of the Swedish Empire. Admiral Tromp's fleet was ordered to burn and defile, plunder, kill or abduct the people, with the intention of luring Swedish troops away from Scania and thus relieve the land-bound operations. Although Åland and parts of the coast of Småland were devastated, King Charles XI didn't move any forces from main front in Scania. During the remainder of the war, Denmark completely dominated at sea, even after the Netherlands made peace with Sweden in 1678. The Swedish fleet avoided further confrontations and could no longer maintain a line of communication with Swedish Pomerania. The last Swedish troops on Rügen capitulated to Brandenburg in December 1678.